The start of a new season brings renewed optimism and new faces, but the end goal always remains the same: competing for a national title. The Sun Devils begin their quest this weekend, hosting the University of Utah Utes on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. Next. Hello everyone and welcome to Arizona State Hockey YouTube's presentation of Division I Men's Ice Hockey. I'm Brett Vaughn alongside my partner Niall Cooper. And now for Arizona State's head coach Austin Klein, it's his first full season and they're trying to get off to a better start.
Yeah, and last year the story was really once Austin Klein came in, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And we saw Arizona State finish last season really well. They played some good hockey down the stretch. Hockey that I thought could have taken them somewhere potentially at nationals. Obviously the focus this year is to get back to that point, and Arizona State brings in a whole lot of new faces. We saw last year, senior year, the final game of the season, a lot of guys left. We have a whole new decor. Folks, you're going to be watching out for Marchant, Young, Keller, and Olsen on the back end. Almost an entirely new decor for Arizona State, and all four of those guys are going to be integral in getting the Sun Devils off to a hot start here tonight.
For Utah, they ended up playing last night against Grand Canyon University and won by the score of 2-0.
Yeah, they did, and a great start for Utah to open the season. I mean, you love the idea, let's get on the road, let's get some wins under our belt, come back home with a good record and get going. And Utah, they returned some good players. Landon Kusick had a huge game last season against Arizona State out here. So did Langenbrunner for Utah. Their main core is still together. You saw Anderson get the shutout last night. It doesn't look like he's going to be starting tonight for Utah, but overall the feeling in that dressing room for Utah is definitely positive tonight, and it should be some really good hockey just around the corner here, Brett.
Folks, all the players are wrapped up and ready to go. We're ready in the booth and excited to call this one for you, and we'll be back in just under a few minutes here on Arizona State Hockey YouTube.
And folks, before we get to tonight's puck drop, we're going to introduce the starting goaltenders. For the visiting Utes, number 32, Retton Kimmel. Did not play last night. It was Landon Anderson for the Utes in the net against GCU. And to make the first start for Arizona State this season, it's going to be a returner, number 30, Eric Garber, the 5'8", 160, native from Kirkland, Washington. He's not the smallest goaltender, but he's maybe the most athletic on the team.
That certainly is the case, and we've seen that over the years. Arizona State really loves to have those athletic goaltenders they can throw in the net, and we'll see how busy he is tonight against Utah.
For Arizona State, it's going to be number 27, the defenseman, Connor Kruk. Defenseman, number 17, Matthew Young. And Braden Shaw, Brennan Studioso, and Elliot Plird out there for the opening faceoff. And we're underway here at Oceanside Ice Arena to kick off the final season here at this historic building. Puck played down below, beneath the net of the goaltender Kimmel. Utah trying to get out of their own net. Shaw lays a body in. That's a big hit. Matthew Young activating from the point, getting into the game early. Shaw to Studioso. Studioso's shot ends up getting blocked away by a Utah defender. Good start for the Sun Devils right now. Plird, high slot, and his skate. Shaw gets a weak shot on, and that's cleared to the corner. Studioso, his pass goes in. Oh, and they score! A broken play, and it looks to be waved off by the referees there, as the puck definitely went in by Plird, but looks like maybe the net's off.
Yeah, great shot by Plird to sneak it under the pad of the goaltender, and something we've seen many a time before, Brett, is that net here at Oceanside Ice Arena. The moorings aren't exactly the strongest, and unfortunately for Arizona State, that's going to take back what would have been a great start here with a goal in the first minute. And nonetheless, a great first shift for Arizona State. You saw that top line with Plird anchoring the top forward unit for Arizona State, really doing some great work on the Utes early.
Utah still unable to get out of their own end. Arizona State applying the pressure now. Carson Cooch, one of the freshmen in for Arizona State, out on this line, as the puck will have to be thrown back in by one of the newcomers you mentioned in the pregame show, Ty Marchant.
Yeah, Marchant's a guy that we're going to be watching all season, Brett, on the back end for Arizona State. He's got a lot of skill and a lot of size.
Stretch pass to one of the Ute players, but they end up trying to touch up as they were offside. Arizona State trying to dump the puck back in. Marchant can't keep it in. They'll just throw it back down and go for a change.
Great display from Marchant on his first shift there, Brett.
Here come the Utes now with speed out of their own zone. Cross corner dump by Erdis. Erdis centers that out in front, a little too high for his line mate Trent Goffart. Erdis, his corner shot ends up being easily saved by Garber. And the Sun Devils relieve the pressure and put the puck out in the neutral zone. Have some trouble with it on the center ice line. With one of the Utes players digging in there for Arizona State is Logan Derryberry. Derryberry ends up getting the puck taken away, and the Utes will try and regroup. Icing waved off by the linesman, Kruk. Short angle pass. Gets it out to center ice by Shaw. GDD pass by Kruk goes out of reach for Matthew Young. Young back up to Shaw. Shaw can't clear. Kept in by the Utes. Point shot on from Clements. Ends up getting blocked away, and now Arizona State trying to attack. Studioso gets the puck cleared out of his possession, and they'll have to dump it in.
Lots of action so far here, Brett.
Haven't had a whistle so far, as we are 3 minutes into the game. Puck played back down around the Utes, keeping control of it. Puck cleared by Utah, ends up hitting a linesman. Landon Kusick trying to give it to one of his line mates. Utah finishing up a change. Elliott Plurd for Arizona State to Studioso. Here they have some speed now. Kate Olsen, one of the newcomers, wrist shot on, saved by Kimmel.
Slight little technical difficulty there, partner. However, what hasn't been difficult for the Sun Devils is moving their feet so far, and that's something that we heard preached by the coaching staff all season last year, and it really didn't take until the second half of the season for them to start, moving their feet well, and you really saw it manifesting at the end of the year. That's going to be a key tonight.
Ryan Lanfear gets his pass taken away. Utes dumping the puck in. Garber elects to play it, coming out of his own net. It's turned over, though, by Arizona State. Kylie Ram does a nice defensive play to get the puck back. Clayton Lackey, area pass, and unable to corral that one was Cooch. Lanfear keeps the puck in, and we'll have a whistle as looks to be deemed offsides by the linesman.
And what a saucer pass, almost finding Cooch going right to the front of the net. That's what we saw last year, the playmaking ability of Clayton Lackey, the captain of this Arizona State team. And last year, if anything, we were hearing everyone say, shoot, because all he wants to do is pass the puck.
Out there for the Sun Devils, number 10, Sean Phillips, great to see. As he played last year on the Division II team, shows that there's some opportunity for growth in the Arizona State program to be able to work your way up. Nickel for Utah. He scored a goal last night against Grand Canyon. Cole Musick now. Musick shot on, and Garber ends up making the glove stop, and no rebound with 15 minutes remaining in the first period. The line that started the game, Studioso, Plurd, and Shaw are out for Arizona State on this defensive zone draw. They lose it, though. Mickle's shot misses wide. Shaw clears it out of his own zone. Forechecking for the Sun Devils is Plurd. He's causing a little commotion right now, and the Utes turn it over. Kate Olsen's shot, just had to get it quickly as he's being pressured. Down the corner. Studioso still with it, battling a few Utes players. Pops out to Marchand. Marchand fakes the shot, but out of the reach for Studioso. Nix now for the Utes collects the puck. Could be a 2-on-1 now for the Utes. Shot on, saved by Garber as he puts the rebound in the corner. There's a beautiful chip by Dix for Utah to keep that puck underneath the low ceiling here at Oceanside Ice Arena and to be able to find a player.
Yeah, great pass there, Brett, and the first real test we've seen for Garber tonight.
Plurd, he's being harassed by Donovan, but he'll collect. Only for Arizona State to turn it over. Ethan Light ships and chases, centers that one out in front. Nice defensive play by Arizona State's number 16, Philip Doucette. Utah again threatening, centered in front, and that shot from Geffard misses wide. Dangerous opportunity for the Utes there on that rush. Derryberry gets rid into the corner, pinned up to the wall, trying to get some help from Doucette. Derryberry still working hard in the corner. Referees trying to yell at the players and move the puck or else they'll blow it down. Almost half the players on the ice are huddled up in that corner, still jamming for it. Ends up being corralled by Utah, and they'll skate it out. Light. He's the only man forward checking right now as the rest of his teammates are going for a change. And controlling the puck for Arizona State is Tillman. Tillman, he scores! I was going to say he has a lethal shot, and he showed it off right there. And Tillman opens the account as the Sun Devils strike first.
Great way to start this first period, Brett, for Arizona State. I could tell you were just getting ready to talk about that shot by Connor Tillman, and he didn't want to give you the chance. He said, this is my spotlight, this is my time. I'm going to rip this thing top cheddar where I know to put it. And he made absolutely no mistake. That was a picture-perfect shot, and the Sun Devils, a wonderful start up 1-0 here in the first.
Sun Devils applying the pressure again, and they started off great in this first period, and I think they've just been riding that wave of momentum of everybody getting touches with the puck and ended up resulting in a goal. Clayton Lackey ends up getting checked. Marchant looking for a drop pass, no one there. Trying to slow the play down is the defenseman Cade Olson. D to Marchant. Marchant still with it. Around two Utes players, and he'll evade the check and dump it in. Just a little less than halfway in this one in the opening period of play. The Sun Devils carrying a 1-0 lead. Garber plays it out, almost turned over. Shepard in the corner. Langenbrunner there for Utah. Kylie Ram skates out with it. Gets around a player, still with it. Kylie Ram trying to center that in front, and it was a diving play by Dix to hustle and block the pass. Out in front again, Plurd shot. Stayed by Kimmel. The late penalty on Utah. Out in front, and that puck just dribbled its way in front of the net. Plurd didn't see it, and then it's finally touched by a Utah player.
What a great shift there, Brett. It all starts with Kylie Ram skating that all the way from his own blue line into the offensive end, chipped it around the defense, skated past him, and takes a hard check trying to take that puck to the front of the net. You see him wrap back around. He gets another chance in front. Ultimately, that puck squirts right in front of Plurd. You could see him almost in disbelief of how good of a chance he had as that went begging. But it's a power play here for the Sun Devils.
First power play of the season for ASU. Struggled a little bit last year on the man advantage, and we'll see what they have cooked up to start this season. Aaron pass goes over the stick of Young, and Utah now just trying to waste some time on the penalty kill. Dumps it all the way down. About 30 seconds has elapsed on the man advantage. Plurd sashaying his way in. Shot on from Studioso, and that was a stick save by Kimmel. At the point, Studioso to Young, back to Studioso again. Takes a shot. The one-timer shot from Young had some heat on. Another shot on. Still loose in front. No whistle yet. And they finally blow it down. As although Young missed the point shot on the one-timer, it was a perfect redirection to Studioso backdoor.
It was, and some great puck movement from Arizona State. That breakout pass, usually it's never encouraged for you to be making those long, saucing east to west passes. You really want to be moving north to south down the ice, but Arizona State, beautiful execution as they feed that to Plurd. He cuts in on the offensive zone, and once he gets in, it's just all gravy from there for Arizona State. Great chances, one-timers galore, and I really thought that puck might have squeaked through the goaltender.
Second unit out for Arizona State now. Kylie Ram, the one whose hard work ended up drawing the penalty for this power play. Out in front, still loose. Olsen, oh, what a play! Kylie Ram, maybe the easiest goal he's ever going to score. And the Sun Devils now have a 2-0 lead.
And that was absolutely beautiful, Brett. Like you said, an easy goal for Kylie Ram. Certainly not an easy play, though, for number 4, Cade Olson. The Canadian on the back end doing a wonderful job, waiting out the goaltender, forcing him to commit all the way to that left post. And then Olsen turns around and rips one back over to Ram right on the tape, and he makes no mistake. 2-0 Arizona State. This is the start that you would have dreamed of.
Olsen, one of the new defensemen that has come into the Arizona State program, and you can see why they were so excited about the new addition. For a defenseman to have that poise in front of the net, you don't see that every day. Utah trying to look for an answer now as they're on the ropes early in this first period. 9:40 remaining left in the opening period. Landon Kusick, he's one of the star players for Utah and one of the focal points to try to get something going, but he turns it over. William Keller's shot gets blocked by Utah. Lanphier still with it. Oh, the redirection, and they score! Brendan Studioso opens his account, and the Sun Devils strike again early, 3-0.
Well, Brett, I already said you couldn't have dreamed of a better start if you're Arizona State. I think I might have to get a mulligan on that. I don't know if that's allowed, because I think 3-0 is a lot better than 2-0 for Arizona State. A wonderful deflection in front of the net there by Studioso, and you saw he was a little surprised it went so perfectly in the net, but you know, when you're on, and right now Arizona State is firing on all cylinders.
And I have to give credit to the defenseman Lanphier, as he did a great job of seeing that shot lane was going to be blocked. Ended up just looking for a redirection instead, and they end up scoring. Plays whistle down as Arizona State's committed a penalty, and heading to the box is going to be Philip Doucette.
Yeah, and typically the way games go in hockey is usually by the end the calls have pretty much evened out 50-50. So not surprised to see that Utah got a chance here on the power play. It was going to come eventually. And this is a little bit of adversity, a chance for Arizona State to show that they can handle that kind of adversity, going up 3-0 and then suddenly being back on their heels.
Light for the Utes at the point, still with it. Light's younger brother takes a shot, misses high. Both natives from Manhattan Beach in California, and they're out here on the power play together. There it is. Back over to Ethan Light. Now to Wyatt. Logan Jackson at the point. Can't get the shot through. Light puts it down. As Mickles' rebound shot ends up hitting the back of the net. And Garber ends up fighting through the traffic, makes a stop, and allows his teammates to go for a change.
Good job by Arizona State being aggressive on those Utah skaters, but not too aggressive to the point of getting out of position. And Garber needing to make that one save there. If that's the kind of saves that your goalkeeper is going to be asked to make shorthanded, then I think you're going to be in for some good opportunities to keep that goose egg on the board.
Centerman for the Utes is getting a warning right now by the linesman in the face-off circle. But they win it anyway, but it was a little too strong as Jackson couldn't handle the puck. A $1:10 remaining on the power play for Utah. Jackson, hard rim around the boards. Marchand unable to clear. Olsen applying some pressure to Mickle. The Light brothers are stuck in the corner together. Can't get the puck out, and it's turned over to Kylie Ram. Kylie Ram waiting for it, but the pass is just behind Clayton Lackey. Lackey wasting some more valuable time off the clock. Under 40 seconds remain now on the penalty. Utah being a little too fancy, trying to come out of their own end. Studioso is unable to go the other way with it, though. Ethan Light. Shot on, misses behind the net, and that's cleared by Shaw. 15 seconds now left. You can even hear it from up here, Niall. The bench energy on Arizona State's very positive, very encouraging right now.
Yeah, it really is, and that's always a great indicator of how the team's feeling, the kind of energy that they possess, is when you're hearing that good communication down on the bench, and we got a front row seat to it so far.
Kruk, a high chip off the glass. It's a 2-on-1 for the Sun Devils. Shaw. Shaw with it, fakes the pass, drives to the front of the net, but doesn't get a shot off. Couple chances early for Utah on that power play, but Arizona State with a definitive kill of the penalty. Landa Kusick on his forehand. Easy shot for Garber again. Garber's looking pretty sharp tonight, if I say so.
He certainly is. Not facing quite as much rubber as number 32 at the other end, Kimmel, is for Utah. However, still some couple big saves from Garber, and I think the key word that you mentioned there, Brett, is sharp. Sometimes it's really tough to stay locked in and focused as a goalie when you're inconsistently seeing shots, but he's doing a wonderful job tonight of not falling asleep back there.
Leighton Lackey fronts the shooter up at the point, blocks that point shot. Lackey trying to kick it out. He can. He gets some help, though, from Grady Franklin. Sun Devils try to slow it down. Unable to get a clean break out there on their own end. And Utah throwing it back in. Under 6 minutes remaining left in the first period. Kylie Ram still with it. It's a signals cross as Arizona State, they've had possession of the puck, but they've just been unable to get some solid breakout passes going to enter in the offensive zone. Out at center ice, Utah playing around with it. With it for Utah's Bryce Miller. He's down the corner. Luke Moeller, drop pass from Jackson. Centered out in front, but doesn't find a Utah stick. Sun Devils now a little tired as they've been trapped in their own end. Puck just gets out. And that allows Arizona State to slow the puck down and try to get some of the players a fresh change. Wyatt Light. He comes back in as Utah with some fresh skaters of their own. Light at the point. Music shot. Blockered into the corner by Garber. Play continues now. Haven't had a whistle in a bit. 4:30 remains now in the period. 3-0 Arizona State lead. A hot start in this first period. Nice pass by Doucette as he goes to the bench to Derryberry. Derryberry's pass goes behind Tillman. Tillman looking for a call, but he doesn't get one. Cade Olson ends up getting impeded by his own player, and Utah dumps it back in the other way. Ethan Light tangles up in the corner with Sean Phillips. Arizona State still sloppy, as they've really been pinned in these past few minutes. Curtis gets it in. Now we're going to have a penalty called as it's finally whistled down as Phillips and Tanner Schultz for Arizona State having some words with the Utah player.
A little bit of animosity finally starting to rear its head here as Utah getting down to late in this period, knowing that they need to get something going, anything to just cling on to a little bit of hope, a little bit of momentum before they start the second period, as it's been all Sun Devils from start to finish tonight, Brett. If not for that lucky, fortunate break for Utah where the net came off its moorings right before that potential plurred goal a minute into the game, it could be 4-0 right now for all we know.
Utah had a good couple minutes to now give them a second power play of the game. Langenbrunner wins the draw. Langenbrunner. Him and Studioso are jabbing for the puck, and Studioso just gets the puck out into the neutral zone. Folks, thanks for staying patient with us. We're having a couple of technical difficulties with the camera. Elliot Plur takes a hard hit from a Utah player, and Looks to be another penalty called. Play continues, but they go offside, and now we're going to have a 5-on-3 opportunity for Utah.
And the medal of Arizona State's going to get tested certainly here, Brett. This is the most contentious point, I think, defensively for Arizona State that we have seen so far yet in this game. And not to mention that penalty that was just assessed to Arizona State is a 4-minute double minor.
Good catch there, Niall, as it's going to be some gymnastics for the scorekeeper in the box to keep control of all these penalties. But right now it's a 5-on-3, and Utah ends up cashing in quickly. There were just some quick passes at the top of the key, and the defenseman, Dylan Dix for Utah, ends up erasing that 0 and puts a 1 up there for Utah, as now they're only down 2 goals.
Yeah, and usually on the 5-on-3, you'll see a lot of times the teams, they want to work it down low. They want to get the goalie moving, going from that low to high, then east to west. And you saw Dix, he got that one-timer, and he knew as soon as that puck was coming to him, this is in my wheelhouse. I'm letting this thing go. And at that point, it was just if he could get past Garber, and he beat Garber to that far corner.
Especially that goal only took the Utes 8 seconds to get that one in by the point shot from Dix. Now it's a 5-on-4 power play for Utah. Now Arizona State going the other way. 2-on-1 on the penalty kill. Short-handed, and Clayton Lackey couldn't get the shot off. Lackey trying to do the lacrosse plays. He was getting the puck up on his stick and ends up getting seated down by Dix, and looks to be deemed illegally as the referee is escorting him to the box.
How about the mental wherewithal of Clayton Lackey there to think in the spot, I'm short-handed, I'm about to get creamed by the defenseman that's coming over here. Let me grab this real quick and lacrosse style and try to throw this in the top corner. And he nearly executed. He got it most of the way there and got crunched just before he could get the puck in front of the net. But a great job by Lackey to draw a penalty in the process and even this thing up. Now we get a little 4-aside.
So because Arizona State took that double minor, we'll have 2 minutes of 4-on-4 play and still some time left over for the Utes to get back on the man advantage. Math was never my strong suit, but we're going to try to go ahead and work together. 2-on-1 for the Utes. Wyatt Light was out trying to outweight the defenseman Olsen. He went down and blocked the shot, but Light never took the opportunity to go for it. Marchand, a little tired, chips it in. Goes for a change. Plurd knocks the Utah player down, and he collects the puck now. Backdoor play for Young, but he doesn't get good wood on it. Minute 10 remains on the 4-on-4. Kruk does just enough to not allow Light to enter in the offensive zone. Shaw for Arizona State. Gingerly bringing the puck in the offensive zone. Young. His pass just behind his line mate, Cooch. Under 60 seconds remain in this first period. Young feeling some pressure, throws it to the other side to Kylie Ram. Kylie Ram plays it back down around. And Kruk behind his net. Kylie Ram coming in on the left side. 35 seconds remain now. Kylie Ram by himself. Lackey lurking around trying to help out. Looks to be this 4-on-4 is going to end just before the period ends. Turned over by Utah. As Arizona State's back on the penalty kill now, and Marchand will clap that one all the way down. Utah gonna elect to just sit behind their net. And that'll do it for the end of this first period. And it was a wild one, 4 goals altogether in it in the first period.
Yeah, wild one, Brett. In the first period, Arizona State had this thing in full control until those final 5 minutes. Got into a little bit of penalty trouble. You know, you give a team a 5-on-3, a team that's as good as Utah, and their big guns are going to take advantage. They did that, and now Utah has that little bit of momentum that we were talking about, that they're going to be able to go in the locker room, say, hey, we got the goal, we still have a power play, let's get back at this, boys. Meanwhile, Arizona State is going to say, guys, we just played an outstanding first period. Let's not waste it. Let's come out and really dictate the pace of play in the second period.
Well, folks, we'll be back in just under 15 minutes to bring you live second period action of Arizona State versus Utah. At the end of one, Arizona State 3, Utah 1. This is Arizona State Hockey YouTube.
We'll be fighting in the streets with our children at our feet. And tomorrow's the day worship will be gone. And the men who spurred us on sit in judgment of all wrong. They decide and the shotgun sings the song. I'll tip my hat to the new Constitution. Take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around. Pick up my guitar and play just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. The change it had to come. We knew it all along. We were liberated from the bullet song. And the world looks just the same. And history ain't changed. 'Cause the banners they all flown in the last war. I'll tip my hat to the new Constitution. Take a bow for the new revolution. Smile and grin at the change all around. Pick up my guitar and play just like yesterday. Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. No, no. Say your prayers and so on. Don't forget, my son, to include everyone. I tuck you in or within, keep you free from sin till the Sandman he comes. Sleep with one eye open, gripping your pillow tight. Exit light and tonight. Take my hand, off to never, never land.
At Oceanside Ice Arena in Tempe, Arizona. I'm Brett Vaughn, alongside my partner Niall Cooper, and we're treated to a fast and fun first period. 4 total goals scored. Arizona State putting up 3 goals early in the period, but they ended up letting Utah back in near the end of it.
Yeah, tough way to end the period for Arizona State, but overall it's got to be a positive message. You know, we talked in the pregame, Brett, about starting off the year on the right foot for Arizona State. You know, the goal here for them is to get back to natties. And 3 goals in the first period, that's exactly what you wanted to see. After all the talk in the offseason was the big acquisitions, there's going to be more offense, there's going to be more skill on the ice. You still had your main core. You know, all the tools and all the pieces are there on paper. It's just a matter of them coming together on the ice.
Both teams switch ends in the second period. Arizona State's going to be moving from left to right. As the second period's underway, Utah carrying in a power play, has about 55 seconds remaining on it. If you remember, they scored late in that first period on a 5-on-3. And that puck is cleared all the way down by Arizona State's Matthew Young. Puck's a little slow as the ice was just gotten done by the Zamboni, and you can see it's a little wet out there. That ends up slowing the puck down for the player. Makes it hard for them to keep control of it. Dix, his point shot ends up stinging the player Clayton Lackey as he's laboring over to the bench. As Dix has a lethal one-timer shot as he scored that only goal for the Utes.
Yeah, we saw him rip one home at the end of the first period, and Clayton Lackey, unfortunately, on the wrong side of another hard shot from Dix, and that's the kind of effort you want to see out of your penalty killers and out of your captain.
Arizona State's back to full strength as the puck sealed up against the kick plate down in the Arizona State zone. Braden Shaw trying to get around the defenseman Jackson. No call in the play as the referee was watching that. Jackson gets his pass taken away momentarily. You also see some of the physicality carrying over from the last period. Studioso and for Arizona State working on Jackson, centers that in front, and Kimmel's alert to put his glove hand over the puck and get a whistle.
Arizona State able to kill off the tail end of that double minor for roughing that they took in the latter stages of that first period. Only yielding 1 goal on approximately 5 minutes of shorthanded time. Overall, not too bad. You know, the coaching staff is going to want to see Arizona State come back and reassert themselves the way they did the first 3 quarters of the game.
Utah ends up winning the draw in the defensive zone. Dix, the captain for the Utes, trying to settle the puck down. It'll find Mickle. Mickle skating from east to west through the neutral zone. Chips and tries to get the puck back. He does. Now works it back up to the point. Takes a weird hop off the ice, and Arizona State trying to chip it out, and that was a tough hit there taken by number 12, Grady Franklin for Arizona State. Puck goes in, though, on Kimmel, and he's just forced to freeze it there.
Franklin no worse for the wear. As Utah really up in the physicality, as that seems to be the way that they want to re-engage themselves and get back into this game. After getting a nice shutout against what is expected to be a really tough GCU team last night, Brett, up in Arcadia, they come down here to Tempe and are definitely shell-shocked in that first period. As head coach Morgan Feeney, I'm sure, had some choice words for the Utes during the intermission, and they seem to come out responding.
Crux point shot gets blocked by Utah. Ethan Light just clears that one out of his own zone. Icing waved off. That forces Young to corral it. Good pace so far for both of these teams. It'll be interesting to see how it goes and continues, since it's the first weekend of the season for both of them.
Certainly a test of conditioning here for both squads. Utah fought off the bus legs early, And Arizona State just trying to re-engage themselves after a long offseason.
Erdis dropping it for Light. Light shot gets blocked. At the point. Light. Drops the one back to Music. Music shot gets blocked by Phillips. And that shot gets redirected up and out of play. A trend that I'm noticing for Arizona State, it's a good one, is that everybody's willing to pay the price and get in the way of those tough shots.
Certainly a good trend if you're a fan of Arizona State. The Sun Devils getting in front of a lot of shots, really trying to help out their goaltender Garber and, not give those great one-timer opportunities. We've seen so far tonight the only good one-timer opportunity that Utah's had was on a 5-on-3 power play. Great job by Arizona State committing to get in those shooting lanes and the passing lanes.
Marchand, the stretch pass to Lackey, wasn't tape to tape, and he can't get the puck in. It was a good idea, though. Looked to be a set play once Arizona State won that draw. Puck gets batted down by Bryce Miller. Both teams unable to really get a solid footing in either one zone. Chipped in by Lackey now. Arizona State finishing up a change. Puck gets intercepted by Cooch. His shot gets blocked. Olsen jabbing for it as they were momentarily offside. Studioso digs his way through one. Studioso again, still with it. Centers out in front, ends up getting blocked. Pressure still being applied by Arizona State. Studioso's got to be tired as he's near the end of his shift. Dixon Plurd. Plurd cycling it down low. Studioso with his head up. Finds Plurd, and Plurd's shot ends up getting saved by Kimmel.
That's one of the best saves we've seen so far tonight, Brett. Maybe the best from Kimmel between the pipes.
Poor change by Utah. 3-on-2 for Arizona State. Studioso, wrist shot on, and that gets saved by Kimmel, and the rebound redirects out of play.
And I think Kimmel in the locker room went to his go-to playlist on Spotify, Brett, cranked it up to 100, and really got locked in because those are two immaculate saves we just saw from number 32 for the Utes. First, the chance with Plurd in front of the net. Studioso feeds him, and Kimmel getting all the way low to his right to make the save. And then that bad change, the Sun Devils come back on a 3-on-2. Another save, this time top corner. Studioso tried to pick it, but Kimmel had the answer.
He strikes me as like a power gym hits kind of guy. That's what I use in the gym to try to get through those tough sets.
It's always leg day. Those are the tough ones, Brett.
Redirection again by Arizona State. Kimmel still aware. As Hosworth wasn't ready for the pass, he has to hustle back and win the race against Landa Kusick, but the Utes come in. Landa Kusick, 360 shot, misses wide. Shaw with it now, dumps it in, and he'll go for a change. 14-10 remaining in the second period. No goals as of yet. Redirected back in by Arizona State. A good few shifts by these groups of forwards for the Sun Devils. Digging forward hard to do set on the forward check. Allows his teammates to have possession of it. Olsen ends up getting his pass blocked by Langenbrunner. Dangerously out in front, but it comes to Marchand with speed. Marchand on his backhand, a forehand, and just couldn't get the shot off.
And you saw Marchand, Brett, signaling to the referee there as he thought he took a slash right as he went from his forehand to his backhand in front of the net. It certainly looked like up here you could have called a slash. It wasn't blatant, but there certainly was some contact there near the hands on the stick. And not too happy with the lack of a call there was Marchand. As once again we see him, we talked about in the pregame, Marchand, one of those new D on this revamped back end for Arizona State. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of speed coming in here. And he put it on full display right there, nearly getting Arizona State their fourth goal of the game.
Similar to what we saw in the first period, Arizona State not leaving their legs in the locker room as they come to play right when the whistle drops to open the period. Landon Kusick for Utah. He had a good series against Arizona State here in Tempe last season. Ethan Light waits for his teammates to get back onside. The wrist shot on, and Garber again coming out and challenging, cutting that angle off.
And that's certainly something that you have to be able to do if you're coming in at a mean 5'8", 160 as the Kirkland, Washington native is. And, it's not about the, what do they say, Brad? It's not the size of the dog, but the size of the fight in the dog. And Garber's got all the fight in the world as he came out and flashed the leather. He saw a few big saves down at the other end of the rink from Kimmel, and he decided it was his chance to answer.
You have to imagine if Garber gets an X-ray, he's going to have that dog in him. Icing waved off on Arizona State. Braden Shaw lays a hit down on one of the defensemen for Utah. Light by himself, another shot on Garber. Again collects a no rebound as well.
And nothing in the way of great chances right now for the Utes, Brett, as Arizona State for the first 5 and change of this period, I thought they were doing a really good job with their forecheck. They were getting aggressive. They were kind of sealing off Utah and forcing them to one side of the ice and really making it difficult for them to get out of their own end. We saw they had that great 3-on-2 chance on the poor change from the Utes.
Shot misses high from Light. Activating from the point is Clements for the Utes. And whistle is blown, and it looks to be a penalty being called. Trying to see who's going to be heading to the box, and it's going to be a Utah player. It's going to be the defenseman, number 3, Conrad Clements. And Arizona State, the benefactor, is now getting a power play.
Second penalty of the game for Utah, but the first that's resulted in a power play for Arizona State as they get a last-second change, get the personnel that they want on the ice.
Looks to be the referees talking with the Arizona State bench as they're deeming there's a late change being done by the Sun Devils, although they're home and they're the last change. I'm not unsure what the hoopla was about. Either way, they'll drop the puck. Olsen, Marchand to Lackey. Puck sticking on the ice a little bit. Marchand's point shot. Shaw sounded like he got a tip, but the tip missed wide. Now the Sun Devils will finally complete that change, and Connor Tillman will hop out there for the Sun Devils.
And Braden Shaw wasn't supposed to be on the ice to start there, but a great tip in front of the net nearly put that one in.
Marchand just dumps that one down below, but it's a Utah play to get there first. Jackson's chip ends up getting touched by a high stick of an Arizona State player, and that allows the Utah to keep the puck. 1:15 remaining on the man advantage for ASU. Tillman gives him a little hesitation move. Playing it back down low to Olsen. Lackey. Marchand, 55 remains on the power play. Sun Devils trying to get set up. Marchand taking the shot. One-timer from Tillman gets blocked by Wyatt Light. Utah trying to settle the puck down to clear it, but they can't. Olsen to Tillman. Tillman slowing it down. Marchand, the one-timer, gets its way through, but Arizona State unable to collect the rebound. Under 30 seconds now remain. Marchand to Kylie Ram, and he whistles one high. Light unable to clear it, and it's finally done so by the Utes, and Light's a little too tired to get the puck as he goes off.
Kylie Ram, a name that we know the coaching staff was high on coming into the season, Brett. We saw some flashes last year in his freshman season with the club, and he was expected to take on a bigger role this season, nearly ripping one home right there as he tried to squeeze it top shelf.
Utah's back to full strength, killing off that penalty. Sun Devils still threatening. One-timer shot from Plurd as he was right at the front door at Kimmel. It was a nice reaction stop. Another point shot on by the Sun Devils. That's blocked. Shot from Young misses wide, and all that pressure from Arizona State forces Utah to take a penalty.
And we saw it was number 4, Music, who tried to separate man from puck there and get in the way of Shaw and clear the puck out. A little bit of a chagrin on the face of Music as he knew that the contact wasn't exactly lethal on Shaw, but it was enough to get a penalty call from the referee, and Arizona State right back on the man advantage.
It's going to be the second unit for the Sun Devils, but a lot of talented players on both groups. You can say it's 1A, 1B. Draw one by Plurd. Studioso winds up in fires and stopped by Kimmel. Kimmel busy so far in these last few minutes of play.
Kimmel really having to step up right now and be that bend but don't break factor for the Utes, as Arizona State's really pushing hard for a chance to get that margin widened back to 3 goals.
Draw one again by Plurd. Gets it back from Studioso. Cooch drops it for Plurd. Plurd still looking. Swaps places with Young. Young gives it right back. Plurd shot on. Ends up getting partially blocked and missing the net. Good hustle by Kruk to keep it in Arizona State's hands. Walks the line again. Young winds up and fires. A lot of buys in front. Ends up hitting his own man, Kruk. At the point again, it's Plurd. To Young. Young's waiting for somebody to pop out on the right side. No one is right now. They'll elect to work it on the left side. Shot on from Cooch. Ends up missing and allows Utah to clear it. Garber had to be alert there as there's a Utah player bearing down on him. And now they have the puck now. That was a nice defensive poke check by Connor Kruk. Allows Arizona State to go the other way. Plurd's wrist shot on, rebound loose, but Kimmel ends up grabbing it. And that was some dangerous moments shorthanded for Utah.
It certainly was. The Sun Devils moving the puck well. Young, you could tell he wanted to take a shot, but the Utes doing a really good job getting almost all 4 men at one point between the point and the net. You saw a lot of shots getting blocked. One even hit Kruk, as you mentioned, partner. And the Sun Devils not able to get that grade A scoring opportunity.
Sun Devils won the draw again. 30 seconds remain on the man advantage. They haven't been able to cash in yet. Wacky looks for the redirection. Rebound out in front. Ram out in front, and they score! Another beautiful play as Kylie Ram didn't force the pass and waited for an open lane, and he found Tillman back door.
Tillman with his second Gino of the night. Kylie Ram with his second point of the night. And Brett, you could just hear everyone on the bench right there almost speaking to Kylie Ram. Wait, 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 as he was going down further and further to the goal line and just waiting on that back end. You saw Tillman, his stick was in the air, foaming at the mouth for that chance to shoot the puck. And as soon as that pass gets sauced over from Ram, you already knew what was going to happen next. Nothing that Kimmel could do. As well as he has played in this period, there was no stopping that shot right there from Connor Tillman. As Tillman bags the second and Arizona State their 4th.
Very impressive by the Sun Devils of showing that poise with the puck. It's easy in hockey, the fastest game in the world of being able to rush plays, but not these Sun Devils tonight. Sun Devils again threatening. Franklin shot misses wide. Landfair ends up feigning on the pass. Utah dumping it down low. Centering out in front, but Derryberry was alert for the Sun Devils, and as he touches the puck, we'll have a whistle. Looks to be a high sticking call. And it's going to be an Arizona State player, Philip Doucette. So that same story in the first period, Arizona State's doing so many good things and then ends up allowing Utah to get a lifeline, and they're back on the power play.
Certainly a case of possibly shooting yourself in the foot, Brett. That remains to be seen depending on how well they can kill this off.
Garber, good stick as the goaltender reading the pass. Dix with a spinorama move, but his shot gets blocked. Puck still loose in front. Landakusik centers that out, and it's whistled down, and it's going to be, I think, the net's going to be off its moorings, and so that's why they whistled it. When this is the case, no change for Arizona State since the referees deem it was a Sun Devil who took the net off. Draw one by Utah. Landakusik unable to get around Schultz, but he can't clear it. Langenbrunner back to Dix. Langenbrunner fires one low. Garber, good positioning, blocks out. And it's cleared by Schultz. .60 remain on the Utah power play.
Lots of ice time so far for this top power play unit for Utah, as they know this is a really good chance for them to possibly cut the deficit in half.
Cooch does a good job blocking the pass, ends up losing a couple tires and gets back up. Puck gets shepherded in the corner. Cade Olson has some time and space with it. He'll like to clear it down 200 feet, right on the goaltender Kimmel. Utes not getting too much on this opportunity on the power play. Jackson. Erdis ends up evading a checker. Light ends up getting blocked by Cade Olson, and that'll about do it for the Utah power play.
Yeah, the final seconds ticking off here. Great effort by the Sun Devil penalty killers from top to bottom. The forwards being very aggressive, the defensemen with active sticks, and Garber making the saves when he needed to.
Cade Olson bumps up with Ethan Light. Mickle trying to play it up to his defenseman. Cleared in the way as well, Olson. to Marchant. Marchant with his head up. Elects to skate it out. He's given time and space to. On the right side, Marchant trying to do a deke between the legs, but couldn't pull it off. Cleared by Utah. And it was cleared too far, and it's going to be an icing.
Marchant once again feeling very confident skating down this right wing on the ice, as he really loves the opportunity as the left-handed defenseman to try to go backhand, forehand, and cut in the middle for a shot. The Utes only giving him his backhand, which is a smart move by them. Marchant trying to get a little cheeky with that move between the legs, not quite going.
Utah wins the draw on their own end. Mueller chips it out. Light couldn't handle as that puck bouncing end over end. Music to Wyatt Light. Cutting through the center, drops it for Mueller, but he overhandles it. And now Studioso going the other way. Studioso fakes the shot, still with it, fans on the shot. Ends up not getting any attempt at all. Puck still in the offensive zone for Arizona State. Not getting enough wood on it was Lanphier on the point shot, and he gives it away to Light. Mueller trying to get over to Mickle, but nice defensive play by Lackey to lift the stick.
I think Ryan Lanphier might need to get a refund on his sticks, partners. That was the second time we saw him fan on a good opportunity, a good one-timer this period.
It's the start of the season. Maybe he just got it. It's probably still under warranty or return policy.
Yeah, maybe he needs to try out one of those sticks with the slot in the blade. You seen those?
No, I haven't, partner. Hopefully they give those half off.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever use something like that in beer league. I'm not quite the skilled type. I'm more of the Doug Glatt, go to the net and hope it bounces off my rear end and go in.
Arizona State attacking with it. Utah. Landon Kusick with it. Unable to have a clean tape-to-tape pass. Forces the Utes to try and run down the puck. Lackey getting some help from Kylie Ram. Lackey gets around one. It's a 2-on-1. Lackey to Cooch. Cooch, and he scores! Great defensive play as all forwards on that line touch the puck. And Cooch this time showing off the poise as he didn't shoot it right away. Went to his backhand and found an easy open net.
And the Sun Devils chipping it off the glass. You could see Clayton Lackey. He had that sixth sense, almost a little bit of sonar as he could feel that puck coming over his shoulder. He head faked the defenseman before the puck even hit the ice and kind of threw him off just enough to where the defenseman wasn't able to chop that puck away. Lackey sidesteps and gets in on the 2-on-1. And just as we mentioned earlier, that great playmaking ability from Lackey, he sauces the pass. And making no mistake, the newcomer Cooch, and it's 5-1.
Sun Devils again looking to score with the puck. As that 2-on-1 ends up not being a clean pass by Doucette. Utah now stretching. Ethan Light by himself. Light! And Garber makes the stick save.
Maybe the biggest save of the night so far by Eric Garber.
Ethan Light all alone, and Garber shuts the door. Connor Tillman taking it to the front, and Kimmel makes the stop. 3 minutes remaining in the second period. Arizona State, after that goal, has a little bit of life.
The game opening up a little bit here as the Utes really not sure what to do with all this pressure Arizona State's coming at them with. And a couple of these goals for Arizona State, they haven't even been on what you would call a commonplace opportunity. It's been chips off the glass. It's been a funny bounce over a stick. And Arizona State making the most of their opportunities.
Hard point shot from Cade Olson gets blocked in the corner. He gets another attempt to corral the puck. This time he just chips it back in. Mickle kicks the puck up to his stick. The Utes slow it down. But it's turned over by Dix to Braden Shaw. Shaw and Elliot Plird on the other side of the ice was just a little too eager and goes offside.
Elliot Plird sees all the offense going around right now for Arizona State, and he's saying, I was one of our top scorers last year. Let me get in on the action here.
Referee's trying to calm down a couple of the players as a little jawing back and forth. Both teams just haven't seen each other in a while. I think they just want to catch up, see how the summers went. Studioso ends up absorbing the check from Dix, but he turns the puck over to Utah. Plird. Pass behind Schultz. Utah with it. Wrist shot ends up being high from Eric Ibany. Just about 2 minutes remain in the second period. It's a 5-1 Arizona State lead. Marchand looking for the area pass. He had the right idea, but Utah read the play. Plird by himself for the moment. Leaves it for Schultz. Schultz, short angle shot on and goes into the belly of Kimmel.
Sun Devils have had a little bit of success with those long stretch passes through the air and having the hand-eye coordination to knock it down and get a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 out of it. And you see them continuing to try to make that play right now. Maybe a case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
As we know, that second period, it allows for that long change of making the defenseman have to skate just that little more to the bench. Allows for those odd man opportunities. Lanfear felt some heat. Ends up turning the puck over in the corner. Erdis thought his man was going to stay there, but he's buzzing around trying to get the puck back. 90 seconds left in the second period. Erdis. Point shot on. Misses wide from Music. Arizona State, during this run of play, keeping the puck to the outside, not allowing Utah anything threatening in the middle of the ice. Good hustle, though, by the Utes. That backhand pass, unable to connect by the Utes.
1 minute remaining.
1 minute remains now in the second period. Lanford overskates the puck. Shot on from Ethan Light, and Garber hugging the post makes the stop. Officially 52 seconds left between us and the second intermission. Draw will be to the right of the goaltender Garber. Kylie Ram and Langenbrunner in the circle. One by Langenbrunner. Landed Kusick. Couldn't get all the shot he wanted as Clayton Lackey did a great job to hustle out and get his stick in the way to stop the momentum of the shot. Draw one by Arizona State. Only out to the center ice line though by the Sun Devils. Young with it. Langenbrunner takes it away for the moment. Smart play by Kruk just to get it out of his zone, but ends up going all the way down for icing. It's been a slow minute and change to end the second period.
Yeah, a little bit ironic as this period seems to have really flown by outside of the couple of penalties that were called. Not a whole lot of whistles during the meat of this middle frame. It's been coast-to-coast action.
Draw one by the Utes again, but Jackson loses where the puck is. Now it's a 2-on-1. Cooch couldn't get the pass on the stick of Kylie Ram, and they have to skate back. Now it's a 2-on-1 for the Utes. Langenbrunner fans on the shot. Still loose in front. Langenbrunner's shot goes wide. It also goes out into the neutral zone. Utes trying to get one last shot at it before the end of the period. Kruk gets it taken away for the moment, and that'll do it for the second period. Arizona State did a great job, especially at the start of that second period, to go ahead and get things going, but they were able to keep that momentum throughout this period, comparing it maybe to the last one.
Yeah, much better job being consistent, Brett, as they didn't allow Utah the opportunity as they went into that locker room after the first period with a little bit of momentum, a little bit of confidentiality. And we saw Utah come out and be physical. Arizona State took the brunt of that physicality early, didn't retaliate, and then they were able to find their game, find their groove, and open this up to a 5-1 lead. One of the best performances in recent memory by the Sun Devil group, and a great way to start this first game of the season.
Everyone will be back in just under 15 minutes as we'll bring you live third period action here in Tempe. The score after 2, Arizona State 5, Utah 1. This is Arizona State Hockey YouTube.
And new faces. But the end goal always remains the same, competing for a national title. The Sun Devils begin their quest this weekend, hosting the University of Utah Utes on ASU ACHA Hockey YouTube. Next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Arizona State Hockey Tube's presentation of Division I ACHA Men's Ice Hockey. I'm Brett Vaughn alongside Nao Cooper. And the Sun Devils, for it only being their first game, have looked really sharp and up to the test.
They certainly have, Brett. A far cry from what we saw a year ago here at Oceanside Ice Arena. And the Sun Devils making good on the plans that they laid this offseason, picking up some new talent, revamping the back end, increasing the depth of their coaching staff, and they've been preaching that, you know, the goal here is not mediocrity. The goal here is to compete for national championships. They've done it before. It's been a few years removed since we've seen a Sun Devil group make it to nationals, but right now this group looks certainly capable of making a very deep run in nationals and possibly winning the Western CHL as well.
As we start the period, Arizona State with the 5-1 lead over Utah. We've seen already how potent Utah is on the man advantage, so it's going to be important for Arizona State to stay disciplined. Kruk dumps that one in, hops over the stick of the goaltender Kimmel. Given away, centered out into the crease. Puck still bouncing around, and he's pointing at it, and it's going to be a goal. Not sure what fortuitous bounce had to happen for it to get past Kimmel, but looks to be ended up signaled by the referee as a goal. And here come the Sun Devils, come through the line, and looks to be number 21, Carson Cooch, getting that. Referees are still talking about it in the referee's crease, and they're all shaking their heads. Yes, that was a goal.
Brad, unfortunately, my vision isn't as good as Captain Pete Mitchell's in Maverick, as that's a little too far for me to really zone in on at my focal point, but that puck took a couple really weird deflections before getting in the net, and I think that puck it was almost simultaneous, it crossing the goal line with the ref getting ready to blow the whistle dead because he lost sight of the puck. And Arizona State, the benefactors there of a patient referee crew waiting to see exactly where that puck was. And you saw coach for Arizona State even talking after the play with Kimmel, the goaltender for Utah, just letting him know, hey, no harm, no foul, nothing malicious there. We were just trying to jam that in the net.
True that on that statement, Niall. Not everybody's cracked up to make the Top Gun flight program for our United States military. Arizona State applying the pressure again. Centered out in front. Shaw couldn't pull the trigger as his stick got lifted. Marchand's shot ends up getting blocked by Jackson. Kate Olson ends up having a little too hot of a pass for Shaw, and puck gets collected by Utah in their own zone. But Jackson ends up losing it. And it was great pressure by Elliot Plurt. He was by himself. And even with a 5-goal lead, he's still hustling.
Those are the little things that the coaching staff is really going to appreciate after this game, right? When you're up 5 goals in the third period, you can see Utah is demoralized over there as they've been working their hardest and they're still trailing big time. And meanwhile, one of your top centermen is out there working hard in the corner, out hustling the defensive Utah and drawing a penalty in the offensive zone.
And it definitely sets the tone when you have somebody like Elliot Plurt, who's a leader on this team, pulling the rope. It doesn't let anybody else have an excuse. Sun Devils still controlling it in the offensive end. Lackey. Marchand shot, and he scores! Couple bodies in the way of the goaltender Kimmel, but Marchand's able to flip it through on the glove side high, and Marchand ends up opening his account.
And it was really only a matter of time, Brett, for Marchand. He's been trigger happy all night. He's been skating fast. He's been moving the puck well. He's been taking every shot when he could. And it's good to see him finally get rewarded for all the work he's put in tonight, getting a goal as the Sun Devils tack on the extra point.
And right now, Arizona State's scored an equivalent touchdown by a score of 7-1. Something that the Arizona State football program hasn't been able to do too much this year, unfortunately. Puck will get dropped up again at the center ice line. Jack Hosworth trying to get that to Doucette. Now over to Connor Tillman. Shot gets blocked by one of the U players, number 22, Kenyon Carter. Puck dumped down the offensive zone, but Utah's going the other way now. Langenbrunner in the right corner. Doesn't find a teammate of his, and Arizona State going the other way. Tillman, Connor Tillman. Shot whistles wide, and it's a free breakout for the Utes. Langenbrunner turns it over, though, to Derryberry. Puck still being fought for. Utes have it, and the puck gets dumped in by Langenbrunner. Utah trying to finish off a change, so not too much pressure for Arizona State. Beautiful stretch pass to Schultz. Schultz centering that one in front. Hits a couple bodies and goes behind the net. Sean Phillips centering that one again, but that gets taken away. Through on one for the Utes if they hurry. Shot on, and Mueller couldn't get the redirection on that pass. Phillips taps it around for Jackson. And now the Sun Devils go for a change. Game's starting to open up again.
And one thing I think that we failed to mention was how important it is for Arizona State to bag some good points early and get some good victories on home ice, as their schedule this season is very backloaded in terms of playing games here at Oceanside Ice Arena. There's going to be a lot of road trips, some stretches of really tough hockey as well thrown in there. And that just makes this first series against Utah even that more important.
Something that head coach Austin Klein mentioned to us during the maroon and gold game of trying to restructure the schedule, as it's been heavy home games usually early in the season. Utah played back around, but they turn it over. Out in front, Studioso faked the goaltender, got what he wanted, but couldn't get the shot off. And the whistle's blown down. Not sure for what.
I think a little premature on the Imperial March there, Brett, as I believe that was just a hand pass.
Yeah, it faked me out. It faked the scorekeeper out, who was controlling the music tonight. The play will resume. Shaw gets back up to his feet. Unable to center that in front. He's getting some help from Plurd, his line mate. Plurd can get the shot on Studioso up at the point. And the net comes off again. Marchand was looking to size up a shot there, and all of a sudden we hear the whistle.
A break for the Utes, as Marchand was licking his chops at the opportunity to rip that one towards the net. And neither team will get an opportunity to change here.
Puck bandied about. Utah controls it now. As they're trying to hit that stretch pass, but Marchand, little Mars Rover out there, is able to cover so much of that ice, intercepts the pass. Arizona State can't get a clean breakout. Utah trying to apply pressure and climb back into this hockey game with 15 minutes remaining, down 6.
We'll have to check in with the locker room later, Brett, see if Discovery might be Marchand's nickname.
Utah still applying some of the pressure. The Mars Discovery Rover finds a pass to Brandon Studioso. Studioso going in hard as he gets taken down. And the play's whistled down. It looks to be a penalty.
Yeah, the back referee behind the play had his arm up as Studioso was crashing into the boards. And it's going to be a slashing penalty, it appears here.
And it looks to be not only a penalty for Arizona State, but as well as when you commit a penalty, it ends up forcing the puck to be faced off in your own zone. Officially goes down as slashing for Marchand. Arizona State back on the kill. Puck play back around to Landon Kusick for Utah. Still trying to find it. Puck gets cleared only out to center ice though by Lanfear. Utah coming back in. Brady Franklin clears it just enough as it goes back into the Utah end. Sun Devils, this is officially their first game at a Division I level. They did play last weekend, however, up in Flagstaff against NAU's D2 team. That was a big hit there by Connor Kruk, laying the lumber down. Minute and change left on the penalty kill for ASU. Kruk again stepping up. This time the puck goes past him. Erdis couldn't get the backhand pass successfully. Light for Utah. Loses out to Schultz. Light still with it. Fakes the shot. Now takes a shot, but Garber still warm, still alert, makes a stop.
And Kruk, how about that check that he laid at center ice? One of the few returners on the back end for Arizona State and a veteran leader on this group. showing what can be done with the body.
$13:20 in the third period. Arizona State adding to their tally earlier in the period with a 6-goal lead. Utah trying to get the puck out, but Jack Hosworth doing a great job with his footwork of sealing that puck. Now Utah's finally able to have it. Jackson at the point fakes the shot. Ethan Light, his shot gets blocked. Centered out in front. Couple Sun Devils there to clear it out. Olsen can't get it out of his own zone. He's a little tired now. 5 seconds remain on the man advantage for Utah. Light to Mickle. He can't get the puck off. Jackson shot on block. Arizona State trying to jump and fight it to spring a breakaway for Studioso, but that pass goes out in front of him and ends up going for an icing call. So the Sun Devils that were out there killing that penalty are now stuck out there for the moment.
And a good job killing off that penalty for Arizona State. As at this point in time, that looks like it may have been Utah's last chance to really claw their way back into this game. A 6-goal deficit, not exactly something that the coaches drop as, hey guys, this is our chance to really play a great road game.
High shot from Music from the point. Puck gets whistled down, and it's another net being kicked off its moorings, and we'll have another whistle.
And certainly I think it was a good test last night for Utah to open against GCU, as Danny Roy has really taken that program to another level coming into this season, as they have some high hopes and aspirations. And they played Utah quite tough last night, really forcing them to grind out a victory. But Arizona State so far tonight, partner, just on another level.
ASU trying to add another one, but Plurd ends up getting taken down. Mueller for Utah in the corner. Hyper-aggressive Grady Franklin there trying to dig for the puck. It gets cleared away from Studioso, but up into the stands, and a lucky fan's going to get a souvenir.
And our first instance so far tonight, partner, of the low ceilings at Oceanside Ice Arena playing a factor. And I think if you would have gone to the sports books and took the over-under on how long it would take to get a puck into the stands, you certainly would have taken the under on 11:44 remaining in the third period.
Draw one by Utah. Shot on, gets blocked away. As Garber had a tricky one there. The puck was trying to be wrapped behind his net, but he put the glove hand on it. Arizona State last weekend, not only did they play a game against NAU's Division II team to get the legs moving in a competitive setting, but they also went to go play golf the day before. I'm a little mad I missed out on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it was certainly better weather up in Flagstaff this time of the year than down here. Maybe a little cooler. You're at the higher elevation. I think your drive with all the work you put in the gym, Brett, would probably carry at least 300 up in Flag.
Absolutely, when you go ahead and account for the altitude up there, definitely. Lanfear absorbs a check, but Utah has the puck and ends up being whistled down. And now with it being a 7-1 score line, both players are on both teams are getting a little aggressive.
You saw the disdain on the face of Jet Armanen there for the Utes as he was skating past the ASU bench. And I'm sure at this stage of the game that this Utah team is really just looking forward to ending this one and getting back on the ice to regroup tomorrow.
That's definitely the message I have to think for both teams, as once we get a scoreline like we have now, it's got to be important for both teams to not take any stupid penalties, especially after the whistle.
Discipline's certainly going to be a key here for both sides, more so for Arizona State, as you're not going to want to allow Utah a chance to get back in the game. But more than that, I think it would speak to just the poise of being able to come in and just have a dominating victory to open the season.
And as Utah was going the other way, the whistle's blown by the back referee. And it looks to be the captain, Dix, heading to the box. And I'm not afraid to say it, maybe even take a selfish penalty as his teammate the other way had a breakaway.
Yeah, I stopped talking there, partner, because I thought you were going to have to call a huge opportunity against Garber. As Dick slams the penalty box sitting down, he's certainly frustrated taking that one. And maybe even more so, just frustration building over from the entire game.
Now Arizona State's going to have a 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Our second 5-on-3 of the game.
Young couldn't get it where Elliot Plurd wanted it on his stick. Studioso swaps spots with Young. Point shot from Young gets blocked, but kept in by the skates of Plurd. Halfway through the third period, as that redirection shot from Kruk ends up missing wide. Sun Devils trying to get the puck up quick as Utah was changing, but they're unsuccessful.
Still a lot of time left on this 5-on-3. 45 seconds remaining for Arizona State, and you have to think they have at least one more really good look in them.
Young comes in with speed, but then slows it down. Sun Devils trying to get some fresh bodies on the ice. Kylie Ram, Marchant. Lackey, Studioso. Beautiful sprawling block by Jackson. Marchant in the corner. Marchant again. Winds up and fires one, and that ends up being stopped by the blocker of Kimmel and out of play. 9 seconds remain on the 5-on-3.
Big save by Kimmel. The Sun Devils were really trying to open up a good opportunity, but you saw one of the forwards for Arizona State lose his stick and have to go skating into the corner. That cost a good 10 seconds of opportunity for the Sun Devils to really move that puck around. And the Utes being aggressive as they don't want to be embarrassed any more than they currently are.
Arizona State won the draw. The goaltender Garber is alerting his team that somebody from Utah is coming out of the box. Now it's a 5-on-4. Marchant shot misses high. And that clearance from Utah ends up going in their own bench, and the faceoff will be back down in their own end. Utah, after this weekend series here in Arizona, they end up being tasked with a national title contender, UNLV. That'll be happening in early August down in Las Vegas.
That'll definitely be some good hockey, as UNLV, one of the programs that one day aspires to be up at that NCAA level and competing for national championships there. They're going to present quite the test to Arizona State.
Utah is now back to full strength as it's 5-on-5 play again. Puck played by a high stick from a Arizona State player, and the faceoff will go back in the Sun Devils' end with 8:20 left in the third period.
And just to get back to that point you brought up earlier with the Sun Devils wanting to, be disciplined and finish this game off the right way, you certainly want to see, the new coaching staff come in and implement, a new culture and, playing the right way, getting the win the right way. And you wouldn't want to see Arizona State give Utah any sort of easy chances either.
Somehow it ended up being a partial breakaway for Connor Tillman, as it initially started with Utah's defenseman ends up colliding with each other and ended up resulting in a shot by Tillman.
Connor Tillman really making something out of nothing rather, as I get my words mixed up. He has 2 goals already tonight, the Rockford, Illinois native. You could see he's hungry to get that third. He would love to get a hat trick under his belt one game into the year.
Tillman, second year with the program. His brother Marcus Tillman is also a part of the team, just not suited up tonight.
Too bad for you, partner. You missed the chance to have a couple lights and a couple Tillmans on the ice.
Doucette now centering that in front, and a high backhand shot, and flying behind the boards was Grady Franklin, I think, and he's finally able to get back to his feet. He really plunged end over end there like he was diving in an end zone.
Franklin really feeling the effects of trying to break the goal plane there. And that was the second big hit he's taken so far tonight. He was all smiles getting back to the bench now, letting everyone know that he's all right.
Definitely can't fault him for the amount of effort he's putting in, that's for sure. Point shot wide by Utah. Tanner Schultz with it. He's skating in fast. Phillips shot saved by Kimmel. Cleared away by Utah. Sun Devils still persistent with it again being a out of reach score line, it might seem, of still giving effort.
And you can still see, even to this point in the game, Brett, the speed of Arizona State is quite evident. It doesn't matter if it's line 1 or line 4 on the ice. You notice that they are all over the place.
Utah starting that one out in front, hits a skate and goes right to the goaltender. Garber, he makes a stop, and then some extracurriculars after the whistle.
Garber doing his best Hungry Hungry Hippos impression as he knew that Trent Geffert was waiting in the wings, ready to jam home that second opportunity. And a great job by Garber, only seeing his 23rd shot of the night relative to the 33 shots that Kimmel has seen at the other end of the ice, and Garber still looking as sharp now as he did at the beginning of this game.
And the only goal Garber has given up was on that 5-on-3, and it's tough really for any goaltender. So 5-on-5, and even on those 5-on-4 opportunities for the Utes, he's been stellar. Shot again, Garber out in front. Another save, and he had to jump around, but ends up getting put in by Utah. Eric Gibney is going to get his first goal of the season for the Utes, and Garber was hung out there a little bit.
He certainly was, as Garber made that first save, and you saw him dive in position to try to make that desperation second save, and he was able to move so quickly back into position that you saw Gibney have to double clutch and keep holding on the puck a little bit longer than he wanted just to try to open up that top corner, and he was able to do a great job picking that spot and getting Utah back on the board.
Utah maybe feeling a little bit of momentum and something after that goal sparked up on the Utes bench as they're back in attacking again. Jackson with the rim. It'll find Cade Olsen. Olsen takes a check, but a good breakup by Arizona State allows him to clear the zone. Kylie Ram with it now, ends up getting pinned to the wall. Unable to get back up to his own feet. He finally does. Puck comes out to the neutral zone. We'll have another whistle now. Trying to figure out who ends up getting the penalty as both teams are getting Shepard to the bench.
It's going to be Ryan Landfair, who's going to sit for 2 minutes for Arizona State as he gets a new twig before he goes into the box.
Not sure exactly what happened, but either way, Utah, again, with another opportunity, a lot of chances on the man advantages, just haven't been able to cash in. Shot initially from the face off by Mickle. Nice save by Garber. Point shot on. Still loose in front. Kruk did a good job of backing up his goalie, and both teams are getting friendly with each other.
And as you mentioned, Kruk, a great job getting back behind Garber and making sure to seal the backside of his 5-hole as Garber was looking around left and right trying to figure out, do I have it or is this thing going to squeak through? Kruk doing a little 2-in-1 job there, making sure the puck doesn't squeak into the net and then clearing out the blue paint. And unfortunately, maybe just a little too much fervor in him, the way he cleared out that blue paint, is now Kruk's going to sit. And for the second time tonight, we're going to see Utah have an extended 5-on-3 opportunity.
They ended up scoring on one that is one out of 2 goals they've had in this game. 5:30 remaining. We've definitely seen it all here in this building at Oceanside, so nothing's really out of reach. Phillips gets stung a little bit from that shot as he took that in the torso area, but he's back up and running.
Immaculate effort by Phillips to block that and clear it, all from the seat of his pants nonetheless.
Minute and 25 on the 5-on-3 for Utah to try and get another one. Marchant dumps it all the way down.
The Utes a little discombobulated right now, not quite in the spots where they want to be, and Arizona State's penalty killers taking advantage.
Utah comes back in. Jackson to Light, back to Jackson, wrist shot on. Stopped by Garber, and that whip around pass from Utah ends up going in the corner. Light fakes the shot, unable to get the shot off though. Dropping it for Mickle. Mickle fans on the pass but just keeps it in. Mickle shot on and Garber fights through the traffic to see that. Light just keeps it in for Jackson. Back to Light. Light trying to stuff it in. Garber out of his nest to get back in. And that shot misses high. A couple of players tangled up in the corner. It's Light and Studioso. Look to be like they're trying to recreate the cover photo of Step Brothers. And then we have a couple other players getting tangled up in the corner as well.
And interesting enough, both Lights getting busy below the goal line behind this play. Initially, it was number 13, Wyatt, who was getting tangled up with Studioso, as you were so eloquently putting it. But then his brother Ethan was over getting pretty busy himself with Cade Olson. And I believe that Olson did a good job restraining himself and may have drawn a penalty on Ethan Light. We will see what the referees decide as they're down in the referees circle right now, really trying to figure out what exactly went down.
This is the point of the evening where the scorekeeper's breaking out the abacus and trying to keep over all the penalties and times figured out. We also see both captains there awaiting word from the referees.
And you alluded to not being a math major back in your college days, Brett. I know I certainly wasn't either. I could never be mistaken for that whatsoever. So I'm not even going to attempt to hammer out what exactly went down behind the net and how it's going to equate on the scoreboard. However, we do see Light, as I mentioned, Ethan Light, number 24, leaving the box, going to the bench, and I think he's going to be hitting the showers early tonight as we saw him delivering some one-handed punches to the face of number 4, Cade Olson, and that's something at the ACHA level that is not tolerated.
Referees now are communicating to the captains on what's happening. I have to imagine that he's preaching that we need some cool heads here to just finish out the rest of this 4 minutes of the game. While the referees are trying to figure that out, we'll let you know that our next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night as these same Utah Utes are going to be playing here in Tempe with the broadcast starting at 8:30 p.m.
And that is 8:30 Arizona time. Brett, is we know Arizona, one of the few states still to abstain from daylight savings time, as that always gets a little bit tricky at work trying to plan schedules. Talking about tricky scheduling here, it looks like the referees may have finally figured out what the penalties are going to be.
People in the building as well eagerly waiting to have this game continue. And the word from the Arizona State bench. Ends up being that it's going to be a 4-on-3 for Utah. Face off just outside of the Arizona State end, but the Utes win it. Lana Kusick. As we see, the actual penalty time as that shot ends up getting fanned on by Jeff Armenian. Out in front, and that stuff attempt from Langenbrunner misses wide. That the penalty that was given to the Utah player, Ethan Light, is a 6-minute, or it was going to be when the faceoff started, a 7-minute penalty, which I've never seen before.
Now, I have to imagine breaking out my calculator on my phone would be a 2-minute minor coupled with a 5-minute game misconduct, as Ethan Light did head off to the locker rooms.
All right, your partner, that does equal 5 plus 2. Yeah, that is equaling 7. And now Arizona State, after those penalties are off the clock, are now in a power play for the rest of this hockey game. One-timer shot from Kylie Ram misses the net. Centered out in front. Kimmel had to be aware, as I think Plur was just trying to center that, but ends up hitting a couple bodies and went straight to the Utah goaltender.
Looked like Plur trying to do his best impression of number 87, Sidney Crosby, just backhanding that one from below the goal line, as he knew the goalkeeper wasn't quite set against the post. And we heard the Sun Devils before they took the ice here for this penalty kill turned into man advantage that they wanted to get another one and make it 8 tonight. We will see if they can make that happen in the final 3 minutes and change.
Barber leaving that for Marchand. Marchand with it. Trying to get some help from Kylie Ram. Sun Devils keep it in. Lackey. Shot pass. Send it out in front. Kylie Ram's unable to fling that the puck as his stick was lifted and it's dumped all the way down.
A great job by Dix and Gibney combining for Utah there, being very heavy on their sticks and keeping Plurd from one-timing that shot low in the slot.
Olsen getting some back pressure from the Utah Utes player, makes him go offside. It was a late start tonight here in Tempe, as we had the Arizona State women's club hockey team playing against Utah. Ended up winning by the score of 2-0, and this is why the game started a little later tonight than it usually does. Regular 7:30, it was 8:30.
Love to see the women getting an early victory tonight to open the ASU double against Utah. And putting on a great broadcast as well, as there is a lot of equipment up here, Brett, that I think maybe we'll have to take a look at putting on our Amazon wish list.
Behind the net is Cooch from Flagstaff, and play gets whistled down, and what do you know, the net gets knocked off again. That pesky, pesky net.
Those moorings and net even more pesky, I'd say, than the mosquitoes I've been seeing in my backyard lately, as this monsoon season has been one for the record books here in Arizona.
Luckily, it's the final day of monsoon season, according to the United States Geological Survey.
I'll take their word on it. They're a lot smarter over there than I am.
Behind the net, Shaw. Minute and 20 remaining in this hockey game. The Arizona State a controlling 7-2 lead. Really have to be proud if you're head coach Austin Klein of how his team has performed today. Studioso ends up deking the defenseman, but also maybe even dekes himself as he ends up just shooting the puck at the goaltender, but Kimmel was there.
Great start for head coach Austin Klein and company tonight as we saw him rolling in, rocking a beautiful all-blue suit. But Arizona State's going to be singing anything but blues after this win tonight. An outstanding effort from top to bottom for the Sun Devils.
Lackey unable to keep the puck in. 45 seconds left in the opening game of the 2022 season. Half a minute remaining now as the puck's up against the corner. Finally comes out and it's controlled by Utah player. Puck misses wide, 10 seconds left. Utah gets a shot on. And looks like that's going to be it here from Tempe. Arizona State with a great performance, especially for their first game of the season, looking already in mid-season form.
They really are, and you couldn't have scripted this one much better for Arizona State. The best players playing their best to lead the way in that first period, and the Sun Devils doing a great job closing this one out. As you see the thank yous going all the way over to Eric Garber. Not the busiest man tonight, but nonetheless, he still saw 30 shots, a respectable amount. And when he had to make the big saves for Arizona State, he did.
Arizona State's going to do what they normally do after a home game, saluting their home fans that came out to the first game of the season. As we welcome you inside the press box here at Oceanside Ice Arena, Brett Vaughn alongside Niall Cooper. And now, really from the get-go tonight, Arizona State played a complete hockey game at each level of the ice.
They really did, and we saw it in that first minute of the game when Arizona State almost got a goal, courtesy of Elliott Plurd. Some hard work on the forecheck. Unfortunately, the net came off, and that didn't count. But that was just a sign of things to come for Arizona State as they were really working hard. They were skating in every zone of the ice, something we didn't see consistently last year, but that effort tonight was just something to behold, and the skating from everyone top to bottom, and especially on the back end of the ice, I thought Arizona State just a great job controlling the pace of play and really dictating what they wanted to happen.
Even though Utah were the first ones to play, they got that first game jitters out of the way last night in Phoenix, but it was interesting to see that maybe they didn't start off the way they wanted in this game, and it kind of bled into the rest of it.
Certainly the case, and I think they had some aspirations coming into this. They come off a nice 2-0 shutout against GCU on the road last night. They're coming in here against an Arizona State team that was really underwhelming last season, not quite hitting what a lot of people in the preseason rankings thought Arizona State would be able to accomplish. And meanwhile, the Sun Devils said, enough with that old script. We're writing our own story this year. We're going to come out here and bring everything we got in our home barn, and they certainly did that, and it was just too much for Utah to handle.
And now it's that time of the evening to ask you, what is your player of the game for tonight?
I'd say the player of the game, first we'll give an honorable mention. I have to say the goaltender Kimmel for Utah. He was under duress all night, stopping some really difficult shots, seeing a lot of grade A opportunities, 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s, breakaways, broken plays in front of the net. And I thought he did everything he could to keep Utah in this game. But really at the end of the day, it was Connor Tillman getting the 2 goals tonight, almost getting that hat trick early in the third as he set the pace early for Arizona State. He was big, he was physical, he was fast, he was scoring, and there's really not much else you can ask from your big power forward.
Folks, want to remind you that our next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night, same time, same place, as Utah plays Arizona State in the second game of a weekend series at 8:30. Before we leave tonight, want to say thank you to a group of very special people who helped make this broadcast possible. Our cameraman tonight was Jason Hammett. Our director of operations was Kate Morris. Our audio engineer was Kira Vaughn. And our production assistant tonight was Susan Cooper. One final time from Oceanside Ice Arena for my partner, Now Cooper, I'm Brett Vaughn, reminding you of tonight's final score. Arizona State opens the 2022 season with a win, 7-2 over the University of Utah Utes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and so long from Oceanside Ice Arena.